Peppa Pig is full of cute and charming characters, but among them lies an evil character who is really rude and mean, and it's none other than Peppa herself. And in this video, we're going to explain exactly why she's so. In the episode, The Olden Days, when Mummy Pig talks about the time when George was in her tummy, Peppa makes an evil comment about Daddy Pig's big tummy and asks if there is a baby in there.
You've got a big tummy, Daddy. Is there a baby in there?
Now this is a really evil thing to say to your dad, don't you think? And this isn't the only time she was evil towards Daddy Pig. In the episode The Playground, when Daddy Pig is helping George go down the slide, Peppa makes a really rude comment saying, "You're too big to go down the slide."
You're too big to go down the slide.
In one of the episodes, Peppa's friends from her playgroup are at her house playing. Here everyone has got their own toys, and we see that Peppa has got Teddy in a police uniform. But the thing is, Peppa ends up locking all of her friends' toys in a toy prison. Although it was part of the game, she simply locks up all the toys of all the kids, and only she is left with her toy. It's clear that Peppa doesn't care about her friends' feelings. In the episode, The Museum, when Peppa is at the museum with her family, she sees a replica of the Queen's crown and imagines herself as the Queen. In this same thought, we can see that she likes the idea of even her parents and brother calling her Your Majesty and treating her like royalty, just like anyone else. Okay, this wasn't an action, but just a thought. Still, we can say that Peppa truly loves herself more than anyone else. Some might call that selfishness.
Is there anything else you would care for, Queen Peppa?
One of the times Peppa was mean involved one of her favorite victims, Daddy Pig. In the episode Thunderstorm, Peppa and George are playing picnic in their backyard when suddenly thunder starts rolling. So, they both go running inside the house, and when they arrive indoors, Peppa realizes that she forgot her teddy. So, Daddy Pig runs out to get it, and comes back completely soaked and out of breath, as he had to run in the rain and lightning. When he arrives back inside, we see that Peppa doesn't care at all about her dad's situation, and only worries about Teddy, who, according to her, is wet. She simply pretends her dad didn't do anything, completely disregarding his effort. Daddy Pig definitely deserved a bit more appreciation, don't you think?
Poor Teddy. He's soaking wet.
In the episode Susie Goes Away, we see that Peppa really seems sad, but she doesn't let go of her mean behavior. As Peppa and Susie are saying goodbye, Peppa mentions that she'll miss Susie being bossy with her, even though she's the one who's bossy with Susie. Immediately after, Susie gets upset and stands up as Peppa directly insulted her.
I will even miss you bossing me about.
Of course, in the end, they make up since Susie was going away. But this doesn't change the fact that Peppa was really mean with her words, especially knowing that they were not going to see each other for a long time. And that's not all. In the same episode, we see that Peppa gives her crown to Susie as a parting gift. But shortly after, Mummy Sheep gets a phone call informing her that they won't be moving abroad. And immediately, Peppa asks for her crown back since Susie wasn't leaving anymore, taking back her gift. It seems Peppa doesn't know that once you give someone a gift, you can't just take it back. The Peppa Pig movie, Cinema Party, saw Peppa causing another disaster. During Mr. Bull and Mrs. Cow's wedding preparations, Peppa was in a fabric shop with Mummy Pig and Mrs. Cow, who was trying on her yellow wedding dress. Later, Peppa started playing with scissors and accidentally cut up Mrs. Cow's wedding dress, turning it into Swiss cheese. Luckily, Mrs. Cow loved it because she adores cheese. But let's be real, this could have completely ruined the wedding and turned into a massive disaster. In the episode Sleepy Princess, we see Daddy Pig and Mummy Pig putting their two kids to bed. Daddy Pig sits down to tell them a bedtime story. As soon as he announces that the story is called The Sleepy Princess, Peppa interrupts him before he even begins, saying the story is boring, even though Daddy Pig had never told it before.
It sounds a bit boring.
And not only that, Peppa keeps interrupting her dad until Mummy Pig asks her to let Daddy Pig tell the story.
Peppa, if you keep talking, Daddy Pig can't start the story.
In one of the episodes, Peppa and George have a big argument over a carrot. As they are eating their food, George grabbed the last carrot. And as soon as George grabbed it, Peppa tried to take the carrot for herself. Peppa even went as far as saying that she saw the carrot first. But that wasn't true. In the video, it's really clear that George saw and grabbed the carrot first. But none of that mattered to Peppa, and that's not all. Later, Mummy Pig cuts the carrot into 2 pieces, and 1 for each of them. But even then, Peppa got mad and said George's half was bigger. In the episode Cousin Chloe, Peppa and George are playing outside in the yard. The idea was to throw the ball at each other, but George threw it in a way that Peppa couldn't catch, and then she said that made her the winner, which doesn't make any sense. Things got even worse when Peppa herself threw the ball way too hard and made George fall down. That was clearly something really rough that Peppa did. But luckily George didn't cry because Cousin Chloe was about to arrive. In this episode, the fight doesn't continue because they end up playing with their older cousin. But it's still really sad to think that when nobody's watching, Peppa treats her little brother that way. Will Peppa do the same thing to her new baby sister when no one's around? Hopefully not. Susie isn't the only friend who is the victim of Peppa's bullying. She was also not very nice to her friends. Remember the episode George's Friend, where she argued with Rebecca Rabbit? It's surprising, but it all started because of George. Peppa's little brother was playing with Richard, who is Rebecca's little brother. Then, out of nowhere, George broke Richard's sandcastle. That wasn't very kind of George. So, Richard broke George's sandcastle back. And then both of them started to cry. But guess what Peppa did? She started arguing with Rebecca and said it was all Richard's fault. She said, "It was your brother, his fault."
It was your brother's fault. He broke George's sandcastle.
But really, it was George who started it all. It looks like Peppa needs to learn about who's really to blame. Moving on, in the episode George catches a cold. Just like the name suggests, George catches a cold after playing in the rain. Even though his parents warned him to stay dry, he just couldn't resist. But get this, the weird part isn't even the cold itself. Peppa, his big sister, doesn't seem to care much that her little brother is feeling under the weather. You can totally see George is tired, and not himself, but Peppa just brushes it off like it's no big deal. Later that night, George was sneezing and coughing a lot, and it was loud. Peppa got really annoyed because she thought it would keep her awake. She cared more about her own sleep than her little brother feeling better. She even told George to sneeze quieter. He could just choose to do that.
George, please don't sneeze so loudly.
Can you imagine telling someone to sneeze quieter? Then she rolled her eyes and said it seemed impossible.
This is impossible.
And the next morning, when George finally feels better and is all happy and bouncy, you'd think Peppa would be glad, right? Nope. She just stares at him, almost annoyed that he's feeling good again after keeping her up. It makes you wonder, if she was so bothered by the nighttime sneezes, why didn't she just go sleep somewhere else? Seriously, Peppa's behavior in this episode? Definitely not the kindest. Peppa was also not very kind to poor Mr. Potato in the episode Mr. Potato Comes to Town. He was telling the kids how to be healthy by eating fruits and vegetables. And as we can see, Mr. Potato is a vegetable too. So Peppa asked if they should eat potatoes. That made Mr. Potato really quiet and surprised. Right after that, the kids started talking about whether Mr. Potato was a normal vegetable or not. Then Peppa said that he wasn't a normal vegetable. That might be true, but it sounded a bit mean, especially if you looked at Mr. Potato's face. Maybe he was even scared they might try to eat him right there. Remember the episode School Project? Peppa came home and said she had to build a castle for school. Daddy Pig, who knows a lot about buildings, was excited. He said they could use a cereal box for the walls and cups for the towers. But Peppa just said no, she needed something really good. If you watch closely, you can see Daddy Pig's happy face change to a sad one, like someone just made him feel small. Poor Daddy Pig. It wasn't very nice of Peppa to say that. So these were some of the moments where Peppa was really mean. And as always, we'll see you all in the next video.